Hi, this is Pranav Guha from EduTV, from Principal's favorite program. It's a matter of principles. Today, our guest is Mr. Sarkar, the famous Mr. Goutam Sarkar, Principal Aditya Birla, Vani Bharati, Rishra, West Bengal. Mr. Goutam Sarkar is MSc Maths, BA, LLB, Legal Affairs, Professional Diploma Program in Talent Development and Gifted Edu. Education is not about preparation of only a part of life like work, but is about preparation for the whole of life and the deepest aspects of living. His vision and mission, training, the mind is not the only objective for any education system. It enhances the efficiency but does not give fullness. A hardcore trained mind is not creative. Such a mind fails to discover. This is the reason to find out the right education we need to know the complete significance of living and is a and he's also a very good singer.
Oh, how you?
Yeah, we will play that song also later on at the end. Mr. Sarkar, as we have sent you on the mail also, we wanted to know from you how a passive and reluctant learner can be transformed into active and an enthusiastic learner. Over to you, Mr. Principal.
uh, because this topic, what we are going to discuss, is always very close to, I think, all the principles, because it's the biggest challenge what we face nowadays, or even in the primitive way. What I feel, motivation is the only thing where you can convert a passive, reluctant student to an active and enthusiastic learner. Now, see, there's a difference between the motivation, what kind of motivation we are doing and what kind of motivation we are bringing. One is extrinsic motivation, other one is intrinsic motivation. I will not say that extrinsic motivation is not that way effective. It is. But if we actually want to convert, or you can say transform, a reluctant student to active, enthusiastic learner, the only thing what we can do is through intrinsic motivation. Now, as a school head, or as I always believe that all principals are teachers first, and we are, because we regularly take classes and we face the same challenges what our fellow colleagues are facing in their classes. So how to convert this? For that, we need to relate the motivation, or relate our teaching, or relate our work to their lives, where they will feel that this is something they need for their livelihood, where they will start believing that this is, because sometimes what happened that even the negative approach, like constantly, if you're a reluctant learner, basically reluctant learner means those who are so-called weak in studies. Why they are weak in studies? Because they're weak learners. Now, if we think that we need to convert the weak learners, or the weak students or passive students, to a enthusiastic and active learner, we need to motivate them in such a way. Like, there are ways through which we can do. Number one, instead of giving some rewards which is not that way motivating to them, we need to give certain things which they get motivated. Like, number one, suppose as a student I like painting, and you are forcing me to do physics. Obviously, my approach, or my attachment towards the subject of physics will not that way good, or that way close, which I can feel the same for my arts or something else. And sometimes we categorize, because when we take admission in our system, we slowly changing, but sometimes we also categorize that good students means Good means you will take chance in science. Not so good means you are in commerce. And if you can't do anything, you come to humanities. And even the marks criteria, in some cases, in some states, you will find the same thing. That highest means you will go to, oh, he's a good student, then he can go for science. He's not that good, he can go to commerce. Or he's okay, he can't manage, he can go to arts. There was a feeling like that, which I personally oppose, because I feel a student can excel only when he or she get the subject which they like. So this intrinsic motivation is somewhere close to that. Sometimes in the classroom, the continuous pressure of marks, that if you scored less, then suppose in case of mathematics, somebody out of 20 scored 18, 15, 12. We consider them, okay, you have done good, you can do better. But someone scored only 4 or 6, we just label them as bad. But I'm telling you, as a maths teacher, that is not always like this. Suppose the toughest sum in the paper is solved by that individual, which we ignore. And he or she give the maximum time to that, and then he scored 4 or 6 or 2 or whatever it is, less than 12 or less than 10. So we fail to give them the intrinsic motivation. Rather, we focus on extrinsic motivation, where marks becomes a criteria. The moment your marks becomes a criteria, is very obvious that that person will slowly get himself or herself into a shell. So to convert them into an enthusiastic or active learner, we need to understand their, you can say, interest, their way of thinking. Then only we will get the best out of that person. Like, suppose if we pressurize, I'm just giving one example of Sachin Tendulkar. Now, if somebody pressurized him to be a physicist, I don't know what is the result, because his academics is something else. But someone definitely motivated him to become a cricketer. That is why he became world famous and the youngest Bharat Ratna. So see, this is the difference between extrinsic motivation and intrinsic motivation. We need to get connected with their interests and their livelihood. We need to give something which they can relate. Nowadays, our syllabus, I'm not talking about NEP. For NEP, though, we can talk for 7 to 10 days or 1 month or more than that. But before NEP, if you think that our curriculum or our syllabus is such that we just want to create individual which are so-called successful in our eyes, or which come set norms. So this set norms is actually is the biggest hindrance that why we can't convert a reluctant student to an active learner. Backbenchers, they're the biggest asset to a school activity program. Like in the sports, in an annual day or something, you will find that the backbenchers, so-called backbenchers, they are participating, they are helping, they are doing certain things, they are so creative. Because through that, we can connect with them. Intrinsic motivation is all about to connect with them. Extrinsic motivation, yes, there is a need of extrinsic motivation also, like marks, like medals, like rewards, like scholarship, all those things. But if you actually want to convert this, you can say, reluctant student to an active learner, you need to have the intrinsic motivation. Now, I will take this in a different way. Actually, this intrinsic motivation is in practice from the ancient age, or even you can say this is there since human civilization. Because somewhere I found this while just thinking, because I got the topic day before yesterday, I was just thinking this intrinsic motivation is something which is very much close to somebody's religion, where we do certain things not for this earthly, this world, but will be something which gives us satisfaction. When we talk about neki kar, what is neki kar? We don't think of any reward over here, but we are motivated to do certain good things. So that is an intrinsic motivation. If you take Gita, if you take Bible, if you take Quran, whatever religion you take, if any religious book you take, there are intrinsic motivation where they don't talk about earthly benefits. It means somewhere those things get connected with our life. So same thing, we as an educator, as a school head, or wherever we teach, whatever we take classes, we need to think that are we motivating our students in a way which will get connected to them? Yeah, there are challenges. There are challenges, like there are factors which affect this intrinsic motivation, I believe. But again, the basic thing is that whether we can get connected with their background. Like as a public school, we have students from variety of, you can say, background, like some broken families are also there. We need to motivate them, because see, a complete family means where both the parents are coming in a PTM, and both of them are equally interested about their kids, and the kids, like, there are things which they learn from their family, which I call a complete family. But in broken family or something else, where we need to motivate them. So this motivation, this intrinsic motivation, is very much required, is the only way through which we can convert or we can change a passive or reluctant student to an active learner. Now, if you come to this, what are the points, or what are the areas, or what are the things important or factors which affect this intrinsic motivation? Then the challenge is, like, people are more motivated when they pursue goals with personal meaning, and when they attain their goal is possible but not necessarily certain. These goals may also relate to their self-esteem when performance feedback is available. This feedback, we don't know how to give the feedback in some cases. And instead of motivating, we demotivate them. Because if you go for the data, you will find that 70% students will tell that they are not enjoying, not at all enjoy their studies. It's a very dangerous percentage, 70%, if not more. Because recently I went for I just saw one, you can say, survey done by JD Krishnamurti Foundation. They went to the small schools, the government schools, and they went and asked the students, why do we study? The answer is, I want to support my family. The answer is, I want to earn more. The answer is, without this, I will not get a job. The answer is, I don't like, but people are doing, that is why. So overall, the conclusion is that they somewhere the reluctance is there. So are we going to level the 70% of students as reluctant learner? No. We need to categorize them, because somewhere we actually fail to motivate them. How to motivate, where to motivate, and sometimes with this external motivation, this rewards giving, this marks, or certain remarks which we pass in a school, in a classroom scenario, that demotivates. So there are small observation which we need to do as a school, as a teacher, as a parent, because I believe that in school, the school authority, which includes principal, teachers, and all the support staff, and the parents, they are actually like this. And only under this, the child is safe. When we talk about motivation, the motivation should come from both the sides, from the school side, and that must be reciprocated by the parents. Because when I found that reluctant learners are also weak students as per their report card. Because for me, there's nothing called weak students. Less motivated and more motivated. Less fortunate and more fortunate. Less privileged or underprivileged or more privileged students. How? Because sometimes that in a parent-teacher meeting, I heard that parents, they come and they say, so nowadays he is lying a lot. My son is lying a lot. That is why we don't know how much he or she scored in the examination. Then I said, okay, ma'am, can you tell me that, can you remember what is his first lie? Then they get perplexed. What is sir is saying actually? I said, yeah, just tell me. What is the first lie that he uttered in your school? And can you imagine? Can you remember those? Then believe me, 95% of them can't remember. And 5% of they are like little bit confused or something like that. Oh, this maybe. Then I said, okay, let me guess. The first lie is that there was a doorbell in your house, and you as a father or mother, you know that who is there at the door, and you asked your child, beta, jaake bolo papa ghar pe nahi. And then and then you say कि मेरा बच्चा झूठ बोल रहा है. I'm telling you, this is the truth, which unknowingly we people actually give to our children. Now, beta, papa घर पे नहीं है, and sometimes the beta goes and say कि पापा बोले हैं, पापा घर पे नहीं. Because he's a 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, what he will think. So how we are doing the same thing in a teachers meeting. Some of the teachers, they come up, sir, there are students that they are just beyond our control. We can't do. We motivated, we served them, we scolded everything. When I said, if you motivated, if you are successful in motivating them, this complaint doesn't arise. Now just go and try to praise that boy and ask him to write 5 good things about him. There's no examination, no assessment you need to do. You just go and ask him to write 5 good things about him. Take the bottom 5 of your class. Take up as a project. Give a time frame and change those. And I don't know that this topic is going to come to me for discussion, but I can show that in our school, we have a practice that bottom 5, I take from each section, bottom 5, and give them a target of 60 days. And then again, I recall them for the list. And believe me, every 60 days, you will find new bottom 5 will come. And that is good. That is a type of motivation. This kind of practice we need to bring. And bottom 5 means somewhere you will find that, see, 1 or 2, those who are really physically or mentally weak for some other reasons, that is fine. But you will find that out of those bottom 5, at least 3 to 4 of them are reluctant learners. In class 4, class 3, class 5, class 9, class 11, class 12. These are not that is not difficult to manage pass marks. It's not difficult to understand certain subject if you give time, if you motivate them. And what I believe, those who can't, after 10th, they can go for vocation. Because in Western world, there is, in this country, we believe that this much we have to do. No. You can choose subjects, because we also call, because this reluctant learners, I will tell you something, it's a very annoying data about class 11 for every school. across India. The problem is in class 11, you will find students which we call para science. What is this para science all about? Because the parent, they wanted to discuss in the locality that my son is doing science. You feel proud to say that my son is coming from physics tuition. You don't feel the equal, you don't feel proud if you say my son is coming from psychology tuition at class and level class 11. It means you are demotivating them. You are giving them external rewards, like if you study hard for 2 years, you will be in IIT, you will be in medical, you will be in this top science college. You are giving them extrinsic motivation, which they are rejecting from the bottom. That is why if you go and check across the country, first term 11 examination is horrible. Because I have seen for last 7 years, every time the first term examination of 11 science is always below standard. Why? The same thing. They're not sure about it. So this is an overall thing which I want to say, that intrinsic motivation, we need to motivate them. We need to relate our motivation. It is your motivation for your students or your uh, kids should not be from your point of view. Your motivation should be from their point of view. In my childhood, I want to be a doctor, so I want my son to be a doctor. But he's a very good percussionist, or he's a very good artist. No, you can't. You are demotivating them.
I think you're very right, sir. And your example is very good. If we would have tried teaching physics to Sachin Tendulkar, the result would have been very different. And we label these students as passive, inactive, or by these kind of words. He or she is good in some other thing. Now we would like to just give a message, give a musical message from Mr. Goutam Sarkar to all the principals and educationists.
Every teacher, every educator, every principal, they want to say, आ चल के तुझे मैं लेके चलूं एक ऐसे गगन के तले जहां गम भी ना हो आंसू भी ना हो बस प्यार ही प्यार पले एक ऐसे गगन के तले सूरज की पहली किरण से आशा का संदेशा लाए चंदा की किरण से धुलकर घन घोर अंधेरा भागे कहीं धूप खिले कहीं छाँव मिले लंबी सी डगर न खले कहीं Thank you very much, students.
Thank you so much, Mr. Principal, Mr. Goutam Sarkar. I'm sure you must be the youngest principal of our country. Thanks for your wonderful advice. And we will definitely keep on disturbing you for many other topics also. And I am so impressed with you. I'll come to Kolkata and come and see you sometime, sir. Fine, sir.
Please come. Please come.
And
Most
whenever,
welcome.
and whenever you are in Delhi, there is a standing invitation for lunch or dinner with us. Fine, sir. Thank you so much.
Definitely.
I am Harshini Sudarshan. I am a grade 12 student studying at Delhi Public School, Bangalore East. For those of you whu are watching, at EduTV, we are having a program where we conduct talks and interviews between students and university outreach heads in order to find out more about the colleges that we want to join in, and what these colleges and universities are offering to us. So all of this between a university outreach head and a student in order to get answers to questions that every student like me has. So we're inviting all university outreach heads and students to tune into this. EduTV is also having a taster program, and some of you may know what it is. It is just to get a taste of college life. So students are taken on a visit to the university or the college premises to get a taste of what is actually college life in those 3 or 4 crucial college years of your life. So you get to know about placements, job opportunities, careers of the future, what that college or the university has to offer to you, how campus life is in general. So that's what EduTV has to offer to us. So with that being said, thank you so much for joining with us.